Hey y'all, it's Luna. Come back at you with some Omega Energy. Alchemy Part 2. Okay, I had to stop, even though the video was running long anyway, so it's okay that I do a part 2 on alchemy. Okay, alchemy in and of itself is how we express and use energy. Now, I didn't say that last time, but I kind of glossed over it in different ways. Our expression of energy, our use of energy. Not energy in just one sense. Energy has many layers. Everything is energy. Everything. If this little stapler on my desk is energy. It's filled with all kinds of parts, and whatever machinery that was used to put it together, a person, it's got a signature on this thing. Everything that's created has a signature. Has a signature of the creator, the person who created or thing that created it, as well as the signature of all its ingredients and parts. It's right here. We know that this part is metal. We know that this part is rubber or some rubber type material. But we know that this is plastic. We understand those different pieces. We know how it snaps, we know how it breaks. We know that it's less likely for this part to break if we bite it, but if we bite this part, it might leave some teeth marks and it might actually break it. We know how malleable something is just based on understanding its vibration. Now, understanding something's vibration helps you understand what it does. Educating yourself on what something does help you understand how the vibration works or could work should you change it from one thing to another. One of the examples I used in the last video was prayer. And I was saying I don't let everybody pray for me because I don't know what kind of life they live. I used to be okay with that. Now I'm just like, now I'm going to pray for myself and talk to people personally that I know would actually do the prayer, one, and don't just pity me. And two, if I need prayer for something or whatever, or for myself or somebody else. And two, I know what kind of energy, vibration, and signature they typically put out because of the type of person they are. So yeah, y'all pray for me. And that's how I do that. Like I'll call somebody individually or I'll send out a text or something like that. Hey, here's what I'm going through. And be sure nice if you can give me some prayer. Okay. I used to be like, anybody who prays must be a good person. Or they must have a good energy signature. So I'm going to go ahead and let anybody who want to pray for me, pray for me. I don't do that no more. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying I don't do that no more. Personally, you know? And that's the reason why. Now, you ain't got to co-sign that. I'm not asking you to. I'm just an extra careful Larry, okay? But when it comes to energy and having anybody's energy come this way, I'm extra careful. So the only thing that gets through and stays is something that I want to get through and stay. Okay? Now, even if you write your name that has an energy signature, it has several layers of energy signature within that. It has, if you use ink or lead, pencil, that has its own energy signature. You know, ink most likely will not erase, but lead will. Just knowing properties, that's the properties of that thing. Okay. And then you take that a little bit further, you understand that writing your name, your brain automatically recognizes it, and somebody else's brain could recognize that too based on the shapes that you've created. That's how you can understand energy signatures of sigils. If you've never heard of sigils, these are things used to further aid in alchemy as it comes to things in the spiritual context. Excuse me, y'all. Sometimes my dog barks in the background. I tell you, they are not very old, my dogs. They're young. They're big dogs, but they're young. So trying to get them to behave all the ways, all the time is just not going to happen. So I've just, accepted that. You can give them a treat. You can do whatever you want. They're going to bark when they feel like it. Anyway, for example, sigils. Now, I'm not showing you sigils. You can figure out sigils for yourself because you can create them out of things that you understand. Your intention, your thoughts on that shape, object, or thing, just like your name, will help you recognize its signature for you. Okay. Now, applying that to protection and sigils and things like that, sigils can be used on jewelry, on clothes. You can just write them on a piece of paper. You can paint them places. You can scribe them into your walls. If you would like to protect yourself in that way, energetically, from any outside noise or negative energy, stuff like this, It's just an extra layer of something. Even if some of y'all don't believe in that, and that's okay. But who does it hurt? It don't invite nothing in. But that's why you do your research on what you're drawing and what you're writing and what you're scribing. Okay. One of the reasons why manifestation and scribing and writing down your intentions and the 369s of it all became more popular because people started to understand how that energy vibrates, and it continuously vibrates the more energy you add to that. So if you have a vision board, it is vibrating an energy. Every single thing on that is vibrating an energy. And then when you look at it, you vibrate another energy by having a wish or intention, and that is self expresses itself in the universe around you. That is also alchemy. And when you say, well, I wish I could go on a trip anywhere foreign, I just want to go. Okay, you're making that very vague. Now, this is where alchemy becomes very specific, no different than last video. I used the metaphor of cooking. When you cooking food, you're not gonna put no garlic in no cake batter. You're just not gonna do that because you know that don't work. You say, I just want a pastry. But in your mind, you really want a sweet pastry. You don't want a savory pastry because a savory pastry can be a bagel or a garlic croissant or cream cheese croissant that isn't sweet, just cream cheese. So you have to be specific when you using alchemy in that way, and your thoughts and your words. Well, I want to go on a foreign trip. I'd rather be in a European country because I want to see this, or this. Now you're cooking with oil. And then you start write it down, create a vision board of all the things you want to visit and places you want to see. Look at it often. Talk positively about it. And then you'll see some things change, especially once you start engaging it energetically on a regular basis, doing a little extra stuff in your own reality, in your own life to try to bring that in. And, you can add some daily confirmations and affirmations to that too. That's how that typically works, okay? Now, just because you figured out a way to manifest some stuff, that doesn't make you better than anybody else who couldn't figure that out yet. Because sometimes when we're doing stuff like that, alchemy, manifestation, energy work, anything like that, sometimes there are blockages energetically within our own system and in our lives that keep us from doing some stuff. And sometimes blockages are there for a reason. And maybe you need to slow down for a little while in life, and that'll come later, that thing you want. But for right now, you need to focus on this because you've already manifested something before you try to manifest something else. And the thing that you manifest before that is the blockage to the next thing, not in a bad way. I'm going to give you an example in a moment. And focus on this first, be grateful for it, and realize that you have more time in the rest of your life to go and do the next thing or see the next thing. For example, that trip to Europe or whatever. So in my case, I was using an example of personal. I wanted to go to Europe since I was very young. I feel like I'd already been there. You ever feel, when I got there, it was confirmed for me energetically that I had been there before. But before I went, I wanted to go and I wasn't very specific. And so over time, I got more and more specific. And then eventually, out of nowhere, I just decided that I was going to an Italy study abroad trip. And I didn't know how I was going to do here, or other. But I've always had side jobs that I told nobody about. So I worked as hard as I could to get that guap whenever I needed to get it while I was going to school. But what are the blockages in my way? And I had to figure that out because it's not a blockage, a bad blockage. It was just a blockage that I manifest healthy love and healthy children. So marriage and family. I had children. How can you be away for a month and a half in Europe and you have children? Now, see, that's an example of a blockage and something I manifested, right? So I had to get in a circumstance in which if I'm going to in some way get around this particular blockage, because I can't go through it, this is my babies. They need to be cared for and loved. Or at least, my kids were thankfully very responsible for their ages. And even though there was preteen and teens, I still didn't just want to leave them for a month and a half. They have to have groceries, they have to have this, whatever they need. So I didn't make sure they're good. But I'm also married, so now what do? Then Found out later, I'm manifesting a way to get this done still. I'm still thinking on it, and maybe it's going to happen later on in my life, but I'm still going to think positively about it. Then I found out you can take at least one person of your choice, and it can be a spouse. Cool. So I did that. Say spouse is covered. Now the kids gotta be. Now I gotta focus on the kids. I'm not putting no money towards this until I can focus on my babies and figure out if there's gonna be an adult that's gonna be willing to, make sure they're good for a month and a half. And I finally found that. But that's just an example of how, even though you want to manifest something, sometimes you have other things that you need to situate to get out of the way of that blockage in order for your alchemy to present itself. Okay? And that is true for pretty much anything that you want to just set intentions towards. And that's like the most basic form of alchemy is setting your attention from 0 to one thing, from 0 to 2 things, from 0 to 3 things. So you can start out like I did. One day I want to go to Europe. We're in Europe. What did you want to see? What did you want to learn? How do you want to grow? Whatever ingredients you want to add to your specific alchemy gumbo. And you set your intentions to understand that you're going to have to put in some work. Manifestation is not just prayer, y'all. And so I did say that prayer is manifested, is an alchemy. It is. But there also must be other ingredients a lot of the times. Now, miracles do happen. I've seen them and I witnessed them in my own life, so I know that this is possible. Now, your definition of miracle and mine, it might be two different things, but my definition of miracle is something appearing out of nowhere or something happening that I can't explain how it happened, but it was a blessing to me or somebody I know. Okay? That is, to me, a miracle, but it's also alchemy. Something happened to change the vibration in a circumstance out of nowhere. Well, appearing out of nowhere, but that's not for this conversation. But it's still a blessing. To me, that's a miracle. Even if it's small, it's a miracle. Okay? If I pray and there's a small chance that, say for instance, somebody's in a hospital and I sit by their bedside and I pray all day, and the nurses and the doctors come in and say, oh, this person has little to no chance of survival. And I just want to prepare you for that eventuality. Because that's what they do. And I sit there and I say, okay. And I've decided that that's not what's going to happen. I'm a bit stubborn about such things. And so I'll sit there and I'm like, until the last breath, I'm going to sit here and do it. I'm going to do what I need to do. And I'm going to sit here and think positive thoughts. And, this don't always work all the time. Because sometimes it's their time to go and you just got to be okay with that. But this is what I consider a miracle. When medical science and nobody else figured out that this person was going to survive whatever they were going through. And I happened to sit there and pray. And then suddenly they just turn around 360 and are ready to leave the hospital within a couple of days of somebody saying, oh, they're going to be taking the last breath soon. To me, that's a miracle. And I'm grateful for it every single time I've been able to witness it. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm able to witness stuff like that in this life. And that prayer, I consider, creates alchemy. At least if nothing else, it helped me stay calm when I was by a loved one's bedside. It turned me from being, a soppy mess of crying and tears and sadness and pre-grief to a person who felt like they can do something and just calmed me, if nothing else. Got me in the space of, this is what I can do. That is key for a lot of things, not just that. Figure out what you can do right now to add to your own alchemy or someone else's if you're trying to help them. What can you do without taking from you or someone else? And I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can achieve and receive without taking from others. Okay? There's actually, your highest vibration is your best one. The higher you vibrate, at least in my experience, others may differ. The higher you vibrate when you're doing something, the better off you'll be long term when it comes to changing from one vibration to the next or helping someone to do so. Because if all you do is take, that energy signature is on you. If all you do is harm, that energy signature is on you. So, no different than the touch DNA I was talking about. whenever you touch something, scientifically proven that your DNA through oils and sweat is on that thing. So if you're cooking, you might want to wash your hands several times, but it don't get it all off. But that's okay. It won't harm nobody if your hands is clean of other debris, but some of your touch DNA is still on that food. Whatever stress hormones and all of these things are in that process. So this is why I don't let everybody cook for me. I said that in the last video, said this one. Being aware of that makes you more discerning about what you consume. Because energy is consumption as well. We turn our food into energy. This is how we're moving and innervating our body. Because if you go a week and a half, some people a week without eating, you're going to stop moving permanently, right? So you have to put something in here, in this vessel, to make it go. It's its battery. And so, I don't want to put rusty batteries inside of me. I don't want to put tainted batteries inside of me. I don't want to put just anything inside of me. This is one of the reasons why alchemy is important, even if you use it for nothing else other than just to think about how you express energy and take energy in. Because the example I use, and I'll repeat it here, is the fast food workers. I ain't got nothing against them. However, they may not feel the best as they're doing their job. I know y'all see how them people are treated. And a lot of times you get them attitudes because they're not getting paid a whole lot of money, a lot of them. I think one of the reasons why one specific chicken restaurant does so well is because I feel like they put extra emphasis on treating their employees better than the typical fast food restaurant, and they typically have at least one day off a week. That's not a dumb design, to be honest. Okay. Then you move that forward and think about, okay, what's in those burgers and fries? What kind of ingredients you? Well, I don't want to think about that. Well, I'm not saying I eat clean all the time. Sometimes I really just eat like I don't give one single damn because I feel like it that day. But that's not my norm. That's like a treat or every now and again. Do I diet? No, I do not diet. I eat whatever I want, whenever I want. But what I want to eat nowadays, because I've understood alchemy and how that works within me, are things that's not going to cause me harm, and I prefer to cook my own food most of the time. If I'm going out to eat, it's at a restaurant of my choosing, and it's one that I've vetted and understand what ingredients they use and things like this. I get to know the staff, everything. They know me when I walk in there. A lot of times when I'm going out to eat, they know who I am because I've made it a point. And if I'm going somewhere new or something like that, I make it a point to never be unkind to those who are making my food. My grandma used to say something back in the day, and now this was one time I allowed an F-bomb to come through. I told you I'm gonna try to cuss less because I found out there's children possibly looking in on here, and I don't want to say too much or too little, and I also want to cut back on my cussing, but this I can't. She'd tell me, you don't fuck with people that's making your food. And then she would explain it to me in such a way that I understand it now is alchemy. Because all of that energy you're giving out, you about to get into your food. Even if it's the person that's carrying your food, they're breathing over your food just by breathing in air and exhaling. Their CO2 is coming out, and some of it is sprinkled on your food. So any feelings they have towards you, chemically speaking, alchemically speaking, is now in your food. I think about things from the smallest particle of all. And that's another way you can view alchemy. And it can help you in how you treat yourself, animals, people around you. Now, if you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. Then stay the hell away from them. That's just like common sense. But, sometimes people choose the alchemy of engagement with somebody they don't like just for ego's sake. But your ego going to give you a recipe of bad energy continuously if you continuously engage. It's one of those things I've chosen to back away from. As much as my little heart love making friends, not bad enough to be continuously trying to be friendly to people who don't like me. The hell no. No, I can send them away with love and call it good. I never look at them again, never engage with them again, never nothing with them again. And I call it good. That's how you can do that. Take it if you want to. You should probably. It's good practice, at least thus far for me. Anyway, so that's the second little part of alchemy. I'll talk more about alchemy as I continue to do more videos. But, all things that's universal, I guess. Whatever I know. The biggest goal in doing what I do right now is to take what's in here and put it there so you can have it if you want to. It's like I learned it for a reason. I don't think it was meant to just be for me. And that's how I feel about all things that is knowledge based. I think we were meant to pass it on to everybody. And because I'm not going to be here forever, so this is my way of loving. Anyway, y'all love. Bye.